All right, for Texas A&M, we have head coach G. Guerreri, Kelly Minogue, and Megan Straight. Coach, if you'd like to open with a statement.
Well, first off, we want to congratulate Steve and the entire UVA program. I thought they were outstanding tonight. Three really well-taken goals. We knew coming in that we were going to have our hands full, the way that they could possess the ball, the way that they could move the ball. They defend with class. They defend with a real level of sophistication. But I was proud of my kids. I thought that we fought. Thought that Kelly scored a great goal for us. Their goalkeeper made a couple saves to keep it at one goal, and then as we were throwing a lot of numbers forward at the end, unfortunately, give up another one, which is not another well taken goal by them. So, we wish them the best. We have a lot of respect for them, but more than anything, I love these kids. I'm proud of this team and what they've been able to do this year, and where the steps that they've been able to help our program take in moving forward in the future.
I will open it for questions. Please state your name and outlet. Over here.
Richard Crow, Brian Kelsey, Coach, can you just talk about you've scored early, all these other games, scored pretty early, what it was like when they score, and then you're the one kind of having to chase a little bit? Well,
I thought that it was great. Brian hit a great serve in, and finished. I think it was Doniak who scored the goal. But that said, our team I think showed great character in coming back, kind of getting our feet back underneath us, coming back and tying it. It doesn't really change things as far as the way that we wanted to play. We kind of kept our same tactics for the most part for the first half, and the kind of the backbreaker was the goal on the with 2 minutes to go in the first half that they scored on the set piece. And she's been carrying, she's been soldiering through for much of this season, kind of just being hobbled, and so we took her out. Mostly, we just took her out as a personnel change, just to try to get Michaela Harvey in the game. I thought Janae was a real warrior out there when she was playing. Did a good job, but we brought Michaela in to try to get the game. Get the ball back on the ground and play. I thought when Janae was in, she did a really good job of winning balls in the air. But once they scored, we didn't think the ball was going to be in the air quite as much as it was. And I thought that Harvey came in, did a great job as well. Well, we changed our shape when we went down 2-1, and there were about 16 or 17 minutes to go. The question is always, when do you change? When do you we were in it, to try to, contain their midfield. And then when we got it, we wanted to try to break out in possession. And pretty much whenever we were able to break out and get a few passes together, we got something out of it. We got a good chance here, a good chance there. But, as the game is going and as your season is staring in the face, you've got to start to press a little bit more. And so we brought Kelly, when we gave Kelly a little bit of a breather, brought her back on, put her on as a forward, stepped up the other players, and kind of just had to take a little bit more risks. But what it did was it made it to where we could put a little bit more pressure on their back line. We had done that mostly because Kelly can play on the front line and in the midfield, as a pure attacker. And we wanted to be able to still keep possession of the ball. I thought that Annie had especially good second half of being able to keep the ball for us. But when we made the change, we brought in Mallerby. Then we went ahead and moved Kelly to the front line to see if we could get her closer to goal, but also to continue to be able to possess and find targets. We were having a hard time breaking their pressure whenever we would get the ball. Well, just as we were going, we were trying to kind of sniff the way the air was as far as what we could do to get a change in the way play could happen. And again, in the second half, we started the second half out in a situation where we tried to play with Kelly and Shay and Michaela as our three central midfielders, again, to try to get a hold of the ball. I mean, Virginia did such a good job of keeping it and keeping it away from you that when you get it, you got to be able to hang on to it a little bit. And those are three of our better possession players.
I mean, she's just a phenomenal player, and she's the type of player who can make those kind of passes, especially when we're not expecting those kind of balls. So, I mean, I think it's just one of those things where we didn't put enough pressure on the ball to begin with, so she was able to get that look. And then, I mean, I just couldn't find her on my backside, so it was just one of those things. Morgan Bryan played a great ball, and Doniak finished it very well. So, I mean, kudos to them, but, I mean, it's just on our part, we got to be better at that.
Doniak has done a great job, and all the times we've seen her leading up to this, she does a great job of getting into defenders' blind spots and playing on that back shoulder, and that's exactly what she did. And it was a brilliant ball by Bryant and an equally high level finish by Doniak.
Yeah, well, in the first half, I felt like the back line was just under pressure for the good part of it, and I mean, that's just, we knew coming into it that was the kind of team that they are, and they're a very possession-based team, and so we just told ourselves that we needed to be okay with the fact that they were going to have the ball and just kind of wait our time out and kind of go when we felt like it was time to go and step in and win the ball. And so that's what we tried to do, and I mean, the back line had a lot of pressure. We had a lot of pressure on us tonight, but I mean, we knew coming into it that that's the kind of team that they were.
I didn't miss any games when I tore my ACL. I was back in time for the season. Obviously, it takes a while to get back into the flow of the game after that kind of injury, but I think now I'm as healthy as I've ever been, so I'm just excited for the next part of my career, and so happy to have played here. Great program, and can't wait to see what they do next. And yeah, I think just I trusted my teammates, and I know that we're going to get the job done. And I think that having players around you that can play well is really beneficial. And so I think that helped with my play.
I told him just at the end, that we love him, and that I personally love him. And this was a class that really made an impact from the first day that they stepped on campus. They're a lot of fun to be around. I think that they've helped to propel our name and our brand, excuse me, with what Texas A&M soccer plays like. We've always wanted to be a strong attacking team, and with gritty defenders and people that represent Texas A&M well on the field, in the classroom, in the community, and they've done that. They've been absolutely outstanding representatives. Megan Straight here last year was our overall most outstanding student athlete for all of the women at Texas A&M, which is quite an accomplishment, knowing the level of athletes that we have at that university. And when you've got people like her, when you've got people like Kelly, when you've got people like this who are going to continue to represent our university the way they have, it's been great. But they wanted to leave a legacy. They have. It's been a fantastic run this year. It's great being in this event. We'll be back, and we'll be back and expecting more out of ourselves, and looking at these players as the example of how they got here and what we need to do to make that next step to a national championship game. I don't think so. I think the better team won tonight. Just pure and simple. I don't think that we can blame anything on lack of experience. If you look at the number of games played by players in the NCAA this year, the young lady to my left has played more games than anybody. Kelly has been right there as well. These are seasoned veterans. These are winners in everything that they do. And we expected that. We just ran into a heck of a good team tonight. And, it's one of those things for a lot of people that, maybe in the current vernacular of sports in America, is that you don't have to be bad or great. You can still have two great teams out there. And one of the unfortunate things about this event is 3 great teams are going to go home in tears. And that's what happens in an NCAA championship when you've got teams that the class of these 4 and the other teams that participate in this tournament. So it's a group that I'm so incredibly grateful for having with. my staff is an exceptional staff. The Stevensons, Tom Milroy, Alan Hopkins, who's worked with us all this year, Kurt Magnuson, who makes things go for us. It's just a phenomenal group, and Andy Tate, who put this team back together. We had 17 of our 22 players at one time were on the injured list this year, and she's our head athletic trainer. She got them back together and put us in a position for these guys to compete at the highest level.